Oh, you caught me while I was putting my hat on. Alright. Fixing my hat. So, Logan. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I just want to say I really enjoyed Logan. It is a very entertaining film. Easily the best Wolverine film so far. Because, well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that everything from the other Wolverine movies were bad. So don't grow a beard or mustache. Your nose will tickle all the time. I'm not going to say everything from the other Wolverine movies is bad. Because it's not. There are good things in those movies. There are good ideas. There are some well-executed scenes in those other Wolverine movies. But, ultimately, they don't feel enough like Wolverine movies. Because they get a little too kooky. They get a little too silly. If you're going to do the Wolverine character justice, you need to do it as a serious character film. You need to do a serious character piece. Because some of the best Wolverine stories are always focused on his personal struggles and how hard it is to live his life. He lives a very lonely, solemn life. This film is the first film that I've seen that actually really captures what it's like to be Wolverine and live the life Wolverine does live. What do you think, Helen? Billy Jean? We got a guest critic today. It's Helen Slater from The Legend of Billie Jean. She thought the movie's alright. Yes. Alright, so now saying that I did enjoy the movie, it is the best Wolverine movie. I do agree with my friend Felix Vasquez Jr. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. I don't think I am. Just tug on my beard for a little while. Felix said something that was very true about this movie. This movie is a great Wolverine film, but a terrible X-Men film. And he's kind of right. Because plot-wise, this movie is all about how everything went wrong and fell apart. Now, I want to do a little bit of history on the actual basis for this film. For people who only watch the movies and they don't read the comic books or knowing this, and I know it's hard to keep up with the comic book shit, and the comic book shit gets really, really confusing, so I want to explain this to you. And I know some of you probably figured a little bit of this out just from the get-go. This is not an actual regular Wolverine story. This is an alternate future. This is what could happen. Not what has happened, but what could happen. It's based off of a story by Mark Millar, of all people. Now, I have a complicated history with Mark Millar. I am not a huge fan. I think I actually did mention this when I reviewed Captain America Civil War. Not a big fan of Mark Millar. He's kind of an asshole. He's just a huge prick, and he has a very, very limited view and a very kind of shitty view towards superheroes. He doesn't portray them in any kind of heroic way most of the time. So it's kind of dark and depressing. For a nice comparison for you, this is the guy that created the Kick-Ass comics that the Kick-Ass movies were based off of. And if you thought the Kick-Ass movies were dark, I hate to break it to you, but the comics are way worse. Like, the first Kick-Ass series literally ended with him confessing to the girl that he was in love with, that who he was, and that he had feelings for. And then her giant black boyfriend came in and beat the living shit out of him. The end! Let's just say I prefer the movies. Let's just say, just upon reflection here, it's not a big leap to say that I do prefer those films to the comics they're based on. And I can say the same thing about Logan in comparison to Old Man Logan. Now, I will say on a scale of Mark Millar comic stories, Old Man Logan is one of the ones I like more. First, because it is an alternate reality story. It is set in a continuity of its own. So it's not affecting anything in the regular Marvel universe. None of the stuff that happens in it arguably matters. At least until Secret Wars happened and the character of Old Man Logan became a part of the regular Marvel universe. Which I'm okay with. But it's a little depressing too, because, yeah, I don't know. I need to catch up on the comics. I can't really comment on the Old Man Logan comic series. I hope it's better than Mark Millar's comic. But yeah, so the Old Man Logan comic, when they announced that they were going to adapt that into film, I had reservations. Also, I had questions. Because, for those who don't know, Old Man Logan is a series set kind of a post-apocalyptic future where all the bad guys won. And I do mean all of them. And that's the thing. The few heroes left, are all kind of washed up old men and women who have given up on life. They're kind of just doing their own thing. Wolverine being one of them. I don't remember the exact how of it, but one of the enemies actually forced Wolverine to kill all the X-Men in the original comic, which is, yeah, it kind of fucked him up quite a bit. So he doesn't want to be that anymore. He doesn't want to be Wolverine anymore. He's turned to being a farmer. He has a kid, a wife, and he lives quietly on his own. And his landlords, oh god, his landlords are the Hulk family. Because the Hulk realized the only person he could impregnate was somebody that is like him, which at that time meant his cousin. So they're they're a family of incest Hulks. Yeah. The Hulk has an incest family. He is a redneck incest family, and they are redneck incest bully landlords for Wolverine. So there you go. That's your setup for that. Hawkeye shows up. He's got plan to make them some money. They just have to deliver something. So they go on a road trip. Hawkeye's also blind in there. They go on a road trip in the Spider-Mobile, which is a dune buggy that is Spider-Man themed. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. And yeah, it's a dark story. It's a very dark story, but it's also a batshit crazy story. It is a story that is so off the wall for the most part that it's hard not to have fun with a lot of it because it's batshit crazy. And I enjoyed that for that more than anything. The depressing ending, not so much. And I don't know what Mark Millar's thing is with constantly ending every story he writes on a huge bleak note. It's like, oh, fucking Captain America's gotta surrender. Fucking oh, Kick-Ass has gotta get his ass kicked by a big black guy. Does Mark Millar have a problem with large black men? I don't understand, because he doesn't portray black men in a very, very nice light in the Kick-Ass comics. I gotta say that. I don't understand there. I actually was wondering about that as I read those. And then fucking Old Man Logan. Oh, his wife and kid have been murdered by the Hulk family, so he goes and kills the entire Hulk family. But it does have one little bit of hope in it, in that he finds a Hulk baby, which is still an incest baby, which is still going to bother me for the rest of my life. Oh my God, why did you have to do that? I don't remember exactly, but this was not long removed from the time where it was revealed that Betsy Ross, that's her name, right? Betsy? General Ross's daughter. Betty. General Ross's daughter, Betty Ross, was the Red She-Hulk. She's a Hulk too. Couldn't you have communicated somewhere along the way? Did you really have... Of course he did. It's Mark Miller. It's Mark fucking Miller. Anyways, back to the movie. Alright, so the reason I thought this might be problematic to making a movie in the first place was because of all that. You can't reference the other Marvel characters because Fox and Marvel Studios are not working together. Fox has given the big middle finger to Disney repeatedly. So, yeah, it's problematic. So basically, this entire story had to be rewritten from the ground up. They just basically took the concept of, hey, Wolverine's an old man, and made up literally everything else. You just got old man, road trip, another old man, road trip with him. Build from there. Okay. Those are your general concept. That's what you have in the film. That's the base. That's the only things that have actually been taken from the Old Man Logan source material. Everything else is new. It's not Hawkeye. It's Professor Xavier. The road trip is not in the Spider-Mobile. It's just in these several different cars. They're actually transporting X-23, who is Wolverine now in the comics. Comics can be confusing. Wolverine died, Logan died in the comics, and his clone, Laura Kinney, X-23, replaced him. She took up the mantle. So, there you go. So yeah, it's just kind of a road trip movie between the three. It's a very bleak film. I want to say that. I want to hammer this into you. It is not a happy film. It is spelled out pretty quickly, implied and then spelled out initially as the plot goes on, that something happened to the X-Men. There's a reason why there's no X-Men anymore. Because as it stands, the only mutants you see in the movie are these kind of test tube grown children, mutant children that a corporation has been making as weapons, which includes Laura. And you got Professor X, Logan, and finally Caliban, which was a surprise, but I actually was very happy with it. I really liked the actor that played Caliban. I thought he was one of the more interesting parts of X-Men Apocalypse, so I was happy to see him here again. I didn't expect him in the movie. I don't remember reading that he was in the movie, so I was very happy to see him. They're living alone together. Professor X, spoiler, has very little control over his abilities anymore. So, basically what happened was he killed the X-Men with his powers by accident. And Wolverine was the only survivor. And now he feels responsible for Professor Xavier, taking care of him, keeping him doped up so he doesn't have seizures and his powers don't mess up. And this is a very bleak story about them having a road trip trying to save this girl, bring this girl to this one place. The story is well written. It's very well acted. I enjoyed all the performances from the entire cast, including the girl that played Laura. She actually was a very strong performance, despite the fact that she never really spoke through the movie much. Most of her acting was done through her movement and facial features. And I thought she did a really great job. I'm looking forward to seeing what this actress has to do in the future. I need to look her name up. I think I said this in another video. I don't know all of these actors' names. Um, but I want to hammer home, like I said, very bleak film. It like it has a bittersweet ending because, and this is going to be a big spoiler for you, so warning you now, warning you fucking now. Wolverine dies. He dies. It's implied that his healing factor stopped working. Actually, it's not implied. It's pretty much spelled out for you. His healing factor is either stopped working altogether or it's just not working like it used to. Um, yeah, I know. I got the nose itch thing. I can't help it. So he feels every bit of damage. It's very visceral. It's very painful to watch. Like, he's not healing like he used to, so you're seeing him with wounds walking around. So by the end of the movie, he's in terrible, terrible shape. And he ends up dying. He dies fighting a clone of himself, an exact clone of himself, only without his experiences. It is basically just a wild animal version of himself. Just pure fucking rage monster, right? So that's not good. Laura ends up killing the. It's called X-24. She kills X-24 with that bullet that he carries around with him. So yeah, he dies. They bury him. The kids all go to Canada. I love the symbolism there too. They go to Canada, which is where Wolverine's originally from. So it's honestly, and I've said this before, I feel like Fox should reboot the X-Men. And I don't mean a soft reboot like what they're trying to do with the X-Men Apocalypse and everything. No. They need to just wipe the board clean and just start. This right here, combined with Deadpool, are their perfect jumping off point. Logan is clearly going to be the last time we're going to see Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. It's not going to happen again. The odds of it happening are pretty astronomical at this point. Because he's getting up there in years. Jackman's not going to be able to pull off Wolverine forever. And we need new blood. We really do. I don't dislike the actors that played the X-Men and X-Men Apocalypse. I really don't. I thought some performances were actually pretty strong, but the movie itself didn't right to really give most of them any kind of focus. There's no focus. That was the problem with that movie. It was everywhere. Like, you can do an ensemble movie and make it work. But that was everywhere. This needs to be the end. Logan should be the swan song for the X-Men. The old X-Men. This should be it. They need to move forward with a mostly new cast. If they want to keep James McAvoy on as Professor X, and they want to keep the same actors, it's fine. It's great. Go ahead. They need to scrap their whole thing with fucking Disney, and they need to swallow their fucking pride and get together with Disney and actually make a functioning Marvel Universe where the X-Men can interact with the other characters. This needs to happen. Because by not doing so, they're actually losing money. The reason I feel like that's important is because characters like Deadpool interact so frequently with other Marvel characters that not having it directly connected into the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not using those characters to their full potential. They're not using Deadpool to his absolute full potential. By not having him able to meet Captain, to talk about how he has like a bro crush on Spider-Man. Actually, well, probably more than a bro crush. Let's be honest. All right, Deadpool is canon pansexual, so by not having an acknowledgement of the fact that Deadpool idolizes Captain America. Like, these are things that need to happen. Like, it, it breaks my heart. It does. It breaks my heart to see these companies being so stubborn. I'm losing focus here. Logan's a good movie. Go watch it. Go watch it before it's gone. It's good, but it's not happy. It's a very, very dark, very bleak, very sad film. It does end in a moment of hope because the kids in the end survive and they go off to Canada. But overall, it's a very bleak movie, and there's no getting around that. And I feel like that's the problem with most of the X-Men stuff, is that it's been dark and bleak. Deadpool was the first one that felt like it was closer to what Marvel's doing with Disney. It has more personality. It has more hope to it. Color. It's not afraid to be colorful. It's not afraid to joke. It's not afraid to let the characters be the characters and let the actors and the directors shine. To let the characters shine. Fox, overall, honestly, they seem too far up their own asses with the way they've been doing superhero movies. Because I look back at Fan Four Stick and the original 3 X-Men films with all the black leather and the dark, just bleak, dark everything. A company that is ashamed that they're doing superhero movies shouldn't be doing superhero movies. And that's the problem with Fox overall. I feel like they're ashamed of the fact that they're doing superhero movies because they're trying to make the superhero movies not superhero movies. Look, either you go all out with it or you go the fuck home. There's no point. Marvel and Disney have been knocking them out of the park. Even when they get really dark, they still don't lose what makes them work. You guys, these guys are really losing it. So, I don't want to tell you. Just going to leave it there, alright? Maybe I'll talk about it some other time somewhere. For now, I'll see you guys next time. Later.